Hey friends, welcome back to the Guitar Max channel, and it's time for Guitar Max News. In today's episode, AEROSMITH have announced their retirement, but are they serious, or is this going to be one of those KISS or Motley Crue type retirements? Also, everyone's favorite blonde-haired guitar-slinging femme fatale, Nita Strauss, has made some interesting comments about the difference between pop music and heavy metal, and that pop music might actually be better in some ways. And finally, the United States Senate is getting involved in the battle against high concert ticket prices. We're going to go over all of this today on Guitar Max News. Okay guys, so thanks for tuning in, and we're going to get right to this first article here. This is the one talking about how AEROSMITH has announced their retirement, and as usual, I'm going to have links for these original articles down in the video description below. Real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, staying up on all the latest news in the guitar universe, and you have not already subscribed, please consider subscribing right now. Okay, let's go over and check out this first article. This is on guitar.com. Here's the headline. AEROSMITH are calling it quits after massive farewell tour in September. And there are a couple of the guys right there. Let's scroll down and read this. Hard rockers AEROSMITH will soon be calling it quits after a final farewell tour starting this fall. They're quoting the band saying, after 50 years, 10 world tours, and playing for over 100 million fans, it's time for one last go, the band announced in a statement on May 1st. It's not goodbye, it's peace out. Get ready and walk this way. You're going to get the best show of our lives. The 40-date Peace Out tour across North America will begin in Philadelphia on the 2nd of September and end on the 26th of January in 2024 in Montreal, with a stop on New Year's Eve in the band's hometown of Boston. The group also noted in the statement that drummer Joey Kramer will be sitting out the farewell tour in order to, quote, focus his attention on his family and health. Now, remember, I mean, obviously it's a farewell tour. They're retiring. These guys are getting up there age-wise, right? Anyway, they've got a great graphic there. That's the, I guess, the poster, right? With special guest, the Black Crowes. That's going to be pretty cool. Okay, and there's the post. This is from Instagram here. And now the article goes on here. I think it's about time, guitarist Joe Perry said in an interview of the upcoming tour via Associated Press. It's kind of a chance to celebrate the 50 years we've been out here, he added. You never know how much longer everybody's going to be healthy to do this. It's been a while since we've actually done a real tour. We did that run in Vegas, which was great. It was fun, but we're kind of anxious to get back on the road. The band will be joined by special guests, the Black Crowes, on all dates of the tour. Now, honestly, AEROSMITH is a big band, and they have been around forever. They really kind of came to power in the 1970s, and it's easy to forget because, you know, Joe Perry and Steven Tyler, the guitar player and vocalist, respectively, of AEROSMITH, you know, these guys are up there age-wise, and they're such icons, right, of the rock scene. It's easy to forget how old these guys are. They are both well into their 70s. Joe Perry is 72. Steven Tyler is 75, right? So we're talking close to, you know, Rolling Stones age, right? And honestly, last I heard, Steven Tyler really still sounded pretty good. So I'm hopeful. I think this tour is going to be a massive success for them. But now, to me, the real question is, will, you know, if the tour, especially if it is a big success, will they then be tempted to, oh, well, maybe one more farewell tour, or, well, we'll retire for a year or two and then come back, you know, when they turn 80 or something like that, right? Is that kind of thing going to happen? Because with some of these other legacy hard rock and heavy metal groups, really Motley Crue that I've been talking about recently, and of course KISS. KISS is notorious for this. How many farewell tours have KISS done? I think 5, maybe 6. You know, sometimes because of things like that, people don't really take these retirement announcements very seriously. And I think in the case of AEROSMITH, I think we should take it seriously. I think this probably will be retirement for them. One, because the drummer, who's a longtime member of the band, he's not going to be there because for health and family reasons and things, let's say, related to his age. But also, these guys are just so high up there, to be out there running around on stage, especially singing the way Steven Tyler needs to sing to really present these songs. I hate to say it, but I just don't think that these guys will be able to go much further past this in terms of their age and everything. So I think they will end up taking this retirement and final tour seriously. So if you guys want to see Aerosmith, if you've never seen him and you want to see him, it kind of sounds like, to me, this tour is going to be your last chance. But let me put the question out to you guys, right? Because I'm making, we're talking about this in May of 2023, and the tour is supposed to be wrapped up by January of 2024. So let's revisit this in, let's say, a year and see what actually happened. Did they stay retired? Did they not? What do you guys think is going to happen? Let me know down in the comments section below. Okay, now let's move on to the second story that I want to talk about. And this, of course, has to do with Nita Strauss, who I have talked about many times here on the Guitar Max channel. And this is another article with some recent comments she made, which I think we will all find very interesting. This is another article over on guitar.com. Let's check this out. Link in the video description below. There's the headline. Nita Strauss says there's less gatekeeping in pop music than rock and metal. Personally, I'm rather shocked to hear that, but let's see what she says. There's the lady herself. Let's scroll down, see what's going on here. Alice Cooper guitarist Nita Strauss recently claimed that there's less, quote, gatekeeping in the world of pop music as compared to rock and metal circles. Speaking to Loudwire about her recent tour with pop star Demi Lovato, Strauss said, "It was an amazing experience working with Demi. Obviously, I come from the rock, hard rock, metal world, and I am so used to fans being up in arms anytime something changes." She goes on here. "The cool thing that I found is that Demi changed her entire style. She changed her clothing, her musical style, and she reworked all her huge hits. She has a song, Cool for the Summer, that has billions of Spotify plays, and she did a full-on rock version with a little Metallica thrown in there for good measure. And the fans loved it. The fans supported her and absolutely screamed their faces off until the end of the show," Strauss added. "There was no pushback. There was no, this is not what you're supposed to sound like, this isn't what we signed up for, we want the old Demi back type gatekeeping that we see in the style of music that we're more used to." She goes on, "It was beautiful to be part of this evolution. Demi was so happy on the road. You can really tell this is where she wants to be as an artist, and to get to be part of that along with such a great band, an all-female band, so many women on the crew, lighting director, production assistant, wardrobe, Demi's day-to-day manager. There are so many women in high positions on that tour as well, which was so unique." The guitarist, who has since rejoined Alice Cooper's touring lineup, will also be releasing her second solo album later this year. And of course, I will be covering her solo album release and that kind of stuff in the future. But there's a few interesting things here about this article right here. So, first of all, the thing she's describing, I don't consider that gatekeeping, right? To me, gatekeeping is keeping new people out of the established situation. Or sort of the kind of thing where you have the established people, in this case in the rock and metal scene, deciding who gets to join the club and who doesn't and who stays out, right? To me, that's gatekeeping. What she's describing here simply sounds like resistance to change, to changing styles and stuff. I'll tell you a quick personal anecdote here. So I went to a show several years back at the Whiskey A Go-Go here in Los Angeles, California, and it was going to be Dave Lombardo's new band. And so, of course, he was the drummer in Slayer for a while, and so everybody was going down, and all the East LA thrash kids came out because it's like, oh, his new thrash band, the Slayer drummer, he's got a new band. Let's go and, let's get the pit going, right? Well, everybody showed up, with their patched jackets and that kind of stuff, and his new band was like experimental jazz or something. It was so far removed from thrash, and everybody just very politely stood there and was like, good job, Dave, right? No one had a good time, but they still liked the guy, so they wanted to support him. So they clapped and nodded and that kind of stuff. And I don't think the band ever played there again because it was obvious to everybody that that was not what the audience wanted. But that's the kind of situation that we're talking about, right? Where you have somebody that's known for doing a particular thing, and then they do something completely different, and the old fans don't necessarily respond well to this new direction. To me, that is what Nita is talking about in this article. Now, there's a couple ways you can interpret this. To me, one way is like, okay, sure, maybe pop music fans are simply more flexible in their tastes, right? You can look at it that way. And I think that's the way that Nita is presenting it. They're more flexible compared to rock and metal fans. The other thing is, they went from pop to a more rock direction, which of course for me, well, that's the direction you should go anyway. The music is better going in that direction. But imagine if maybe the audience gets used to this and then she goes back to the pop stuff after having gotten all these new fans with her rock style. Will those fans be as flexible going in the other direction? I don't really know. And there's also another aspect to this, and I don't want to disparage pop music fans, but I will. And that is to say that when you have somebody that kind of, hey, what kind of music do you like? And they say, oh, I like everything. Sometimes that just means that they have no taste. And I don't mean they have good taste or bad taste. It's just they are not a person that ever forms strong opinions about anything. They have no passion and that kind of stuff. And it could be, I'm not saying that this is the case, but it's possible that there are a lot more people like that among the pop music audiences. Okay guys, so this, like the first article about Aerosmith, what do you guys think of all this? And what do you think about my speculation on this? Let me know down in the comment section below. And now let's get on to the third article. And this is really fascinating because everybody complains about high ticket prices, Ticketmaster fees, they charge you a fee to slap you in the face, extra $10, that kind of stuff. I'm joking, of course. I heard that. Somebody told me that. But it's not every day that the U.S. government and the Senate in particular gets involved in fighting high ticket prices. But that is what is going on here. So let's look at this article. Here we go. U.S. Senate introduces bill to remove, quote, junk fees from ticket prices. Here we are. The U.S. Senate has moved to end the practice of adding junk fees to the end of ticketing transactions with a new bill called the Ticket Act. The bill, which stands for Transparency in Charges for Key Events Ticketing, is aimed at ending the practice of tacking on fees at the very end of a ticketing transaction, leaving buyers at a loss when trying to estimate how much money they need to fork out when browsing prices. Quote, when families budget for a night at a ball game or to hear their favorite band, they shouldn't have to worry about being surprised by hidden fees that suddenly raise the final cost of tickets well over the advertised price. U.S. Commerce Committee Chair Maria Cantwell said in a statement reported by Rolling Stone. They go on here. The price, they say, should be the price you pay. This bill is one part of a comprehensive legislation I plan to introduce to rein in deceptive junk fees, driving up costs for consumers. End quote. The move comes following criticism from President Joe Biden against the practice in November last year. Labeling the practice as unfair and deceptive, Biden promised that his competition counsel was looking into taking on the matter. Ticketing giant Live Nation addressed the introduction of the bill in a statement, praising the move while calling on lawmakers to look into other initiatives to improve the ticket buying experience. This bill is a good starting point, the statement reads, adding, we support all in pricing, but in order to protect fans and artists, more can and should be done, including ensuring artists can determine how their tickets can be resold, banning speculative tickets, and deceptive websites. So that's very interesting. One of the biggest groups that are charging these extra fees is saying, hey, this is a really good idea. Good job for introducing this bill. Doesn't that beg the question, why didn't you just do it on your own? Yeah, I mean, I think this is just kind of a PR statement by them. Obviously, if they didn't approve of the fees, they wouldn't be charging them. Okay, so this bill, obviously, this still has to be passed and all of this stuff. You know, maybe nothing will come of it, but we'll see, and I will try my best to keep you guys posted. But there's a couple things about this that I just want to say here and see how you guys feel about this. One is that, yes, in the past, I don't know, 5, maybe even 8 years, ticket prices have gone way, way up. Now, you can argue that, oh, you know, transportation costs have increased and blah, blah, blah. I know a big reason that the ticket prices for concerts have gone up is bands and, you know, musical artists simply can't make money from other ways that they used to, because people don't buy music anymore. You know, they don't buy music as a product. You know, of course, people talk about this all the time, but yeah, you can stream stuff on Spotify, and in theory, the band gets a percentage of that, but those percentages are so incredibly low. In most cases, it doesn't even cover the cost of recording the music, even for big bands and that kind of stuff. So, to a certain extent, I'm okay with the concert prices being higher, provided that money is going to the band or the other people in the industry, you know, the road crew and everybody like that. I mean, those people, they need jobs, they need to pay their bills, and people who do their jobs well, I want them to be well rewarded for doing that work. And so, depending on how this plays out, it could completely backfire with what I'm concerned about, because you could have something like, oh, well, we're going to place limits on concert tickets, and you can't sell them for more than this amount, or something like that, right? You know, a ceiling on the concert ticket price. And then the companies that sell the tickets, Live Nation and so forth, they might take just as much money as they're taking now, but then the bands and the people that do the actual, you know, create the actual art, right? Those people will end up being paid less. I would hate for that to happen. So overall here, I'm hopeful for how this will go in the future, and just the fact that it is getting more publicity, that might put pressure on some of these companies to kind of bring down some of these extra arbitrary fees that they add on there and that kind of stuff. So, you know, maybe just the raising awareness of this issue could help solve the problem without, you know, actual legislation being passed or anything like that. But again, we will see how this all plays out. If this stuff, the bill ends up being passed and actually has an effect on things, how's it going to work out? What's going to happen? Sure, I would love to pay less money to go see my favorite band, but I still want the band to be rewarded for their hard work. All right, guys, this has been Guitar Max News. Let me know what you thought of all of this stuff down in the comment section below. And also, let me know what you think of these longer format news videos. Typically, I only do one news story at a time, but I'm trying to experiment with this format a little bit. I know a lot of people enjoy these news videos, so let me know what you think of this down in the comment section below. Again, I'm going to have links for all of the articles I was talking about down in the video description below. And guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you soon.